What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Be Humane. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right into it. I want to talk about stereotypes and how I believe stereotypes affect society and our ability to make progress and think beyond ourselves and beyond our own opinions and misinformation, so we can, advance and become better humans, better people, better at what we do and how we interact with everybody. And so I'll talk about personal experiences, and then I guess I'll kind of finish up about how I think that affects our ability to grow as humans. Let's just look up stereotype. Definition of a stereotype: a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing. I want to focus on oversimplified image. It's almost like a uninformed opinion about a race of people or a gender. I think stereotypes are extremely insulting, and they don't do people justice, because when you're talking about a stereotype, you're talking about a broad idea of something that might not even be true. Because when you have stereotypes in society, for all we know, people could be living their lives acting on how they think they should be based on a stereotype. So you could have a black person that's like, well, there are stereotypes about being how I should act and behave, and maybe they behave that way because they think they'll be accepted more in society, and that's not who they even really are, but they're behaving based on the stereotype so they can fit in. I'm sure you can say that for any race or any gender. People like to be accepted, and people like to be welcomed into society and culture. And when you go against a stereotype, there's usually a lot of pushback. There's criticism, there's arguing, there's fighting, there's a bunch of nonsense. So some of the stereotypes that I run into in my life is, for example, my wife and me. My wife is Caucasian. I don't want to say white, because white's not even a real thing, it's an invention. So my wife's Caucasian, and I've had people say things to me like, oh, you look like a guy who would marry a white woman. I'm like, what does that even mean? Because there are guys somewhere else in the world or the country that resemble me, and they've dated white women, and they've gotten with them for their own reasons, whether that's, it could be anything. But to compare me to another person that looks like me and tell me, I guess, and put on me and say, hey, you're like this person and you do things similar to that person because you look the same. It's insane. I'm like, no, talk about that person. If you want to know about my life, talk to me. Don't assume anything about me. Talk to me. Have a conversation with me. Ask me questions, okay? Don't assume or anything or predict anything. So I'm not even sure what that means. You look like you marry or date white women. I've dated all kinds of women. I don't feel like I even should have to say that, but I've dated black women, Hispanic women, Asian women, white women. I just ended up falling in love with my wife, who happened to be a Caucasian. And I love her for all the reasons that I love her. Independent, strong, intelligent, personality, common interest, a number of things. I don't want to go into it because it's kind of personal. But I love my wife, and I love her for who she is, and what she stands for and what she believes in. So I've had people say things like that to me. I've had people say things like, you married a white woman because white women are generally known for being pushovers, and they're easy to manipulate and get over, pull one over on, and that sort of thing. It's very disrespectful to my intelligence, first of all, and you're insulting me as a person because you're saying I want a pushover. I want this or that. I'm like, you don't even know anything about me. So to assume you know what I want is insane. Again, you gotta talk to me and ask me. To generalize white women that way is insulting to white women. Each woman is an individual. They are their own person. I don't want to go into all the characteristics that makes my wife who she is. To say I'm with her because I want an easier life is insane, because I guess what they say in contrast to that is, you wouldn't marry a black woman because a black woman won't let you get away with what you want to get away with. Again, that's insulting to all black women. You're generalizing women, you're generalizing people. To say all black women, a black woman will pop off on you if you get out of line or do something crazy. Okay, that's not exclusive to black women. That's That's any woman with a strong personality or opinion or whatever it is you want to say. So to say a group of people are one thing based on a stereotype or uninformed opinion is insane to me and insulting to that person and those people. Everybody's an individual and their own person, and they are who they are no matter the color of their skin. And so I'll have a person say something like that to me, but they'll turn around and then they'll criticize racists and say, hey, well, they said all black people are criminals because they're black. And that makes me mad. I'm like, what you're saying is no different. You're saying the same thing. You're just applying different things to it. You're saying all black people or all black women got attitudes and they pop off on you. You're assuming all white women are pushovers and this or that. It's the same difference. And to do that is just really uninformed. It's not intelligent. It's very limiting. And I don't know how you progress in society thinking like that. I think that's one of the things that holds us back from getting to know each other. And you know, reaching across our boundaries and our walls and things that make us uncomfortable in our comfort zones. To kind of make this come full circle, touching on my last point about, you know, racists and people who generalize people based on a stereotype. You have it happening right now to Hispanic people. Trump supporters and people say, you know, Hispanic people are all criminals and rapists and this and all that, and we know they're clearly not. You got bad people in every race, in every culture, every gender, both genders. With Muslim people, you know, you see a woman with a hijab on and you're like, I've heard people say, terrorist, this or all that. So it's just extremely insulting and uninformed and unintelligent to have an opinion about somebody based on their stereotype and assume who they are based on a stereotype. If you want to live your life that way, go ahead. I would say I feel sorry for you because you're missing out on so much and finding out who people really are and what makes them tick, and communicating and opening up doors to things that you would never know and experience about people because you assumed this person was that thing because of the color of their skin, because of the way they look, the way they dress, where they work, what they do. People are not one-dimensional. People are complicated, interesting beings. And I encourage you to talk to them. I always say this, and I always kind of come back to this. Communicate, don't try to educate. When you're communicating with people, you're sharing information, you're sharing experiences. One of the things that I experience a lot is people trying to pass off their opinions as fact, when it's just your opinion. They'll say, they'll spout whatever fact they think they have about somebody or a race or a culture, and they'll say this, and they'll be like, no, this is truth, this is fact. I'm like, no, it's your opinion. We're allowed to have opinions. I often, when I talk to people about things, I always put that disclaimer out there. I'm like, no, this is my opinion. This is what I believe, and this is what I feel. And in doing that, I believe I'm leaving the door open for conversation. But I'll shut down the conversation if I'm like, hey, this is what it is, this is reality, blah, 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 blah. I know that's your reality. Don't pound people over the head with, or beat people over the head with your opinions and presenting them as fact. They're your opinions. Just trying to drive the point home. Communicate with people, talk to people. Don't assume you know who somebody is based on who they're married to or the color of their skin, or any of that nonsense. I don't mean to be repetitive here, but it's just so limiting to behave that way. And so again, I just want to encourage you to reach out beyond your boundaries and not look at people and judge them based on who they are, what they do, and what they look like. You'll find that life is much more fulfilling and rich with personalities and all kind of things that you thought that you probably didn't even know existed. I mean, that's really it. I don't know what else to say about it. It's that simple. Throw stereotypes out the window. Get to know your neighbor. Treat people like you want to be treated. You don't want me looking at you and assuming I know who you are based on what you look like. I would assume you would want me to talk to you and find out who you are and what you like and what you don't like and what you believe in and what you don't believe in. You know? Cut the shit.